So there's a dude I've always wanted to talk about. I used to do like a little chunk in my act way back in the day about him. His name was Kenyon Ross. Kenyon, if you see this, I miss you. I love you. You're terrifying. You're scary. I doubt you're a free man. He he I just doubt it, dude. He carried it. Anyways, I'll talk about him. I worked a job at a factory that was like 40 minutes away from where I lived, and I didn't have my driver's license until I was like 24, and I was probably like 20, 21, deep in it too, like really doing a lot of pills, doing Oxycontin, blow, morphine, heroin, all that stuff.
Jesus.
Yeah. I had to work 12-hour days, dude. But my back hurt.
How did you work with all that in you?
Huh?
How did you work with all
It gives me a little pep. I had a huge beard, like out to here, like huge, massive beard.
Ugh.
People were fucking terrified of
I
me.
bet that was terrible.
I wore pajama pants to work every day.
He has a blonde, scraggly beard.
So my beard will get red after a while.
I was about to say, it gets like a weird blondish
I
color.
have one picture of it, and I'm like, holy fuck. I remember when I made new friends then, they were all scared of me, and then before the holidays, I shaved it all off, and everyone was like, oh, you're just like a regular sweet-looking dude.
When your beard's scruffy.
It was like, I mean, out to here.
Yeah.
So I worked at this factory, and the guys I got the job with both quit, and I kept finding like someone else to ride with and someone else to ride with who like lived near me. And for a little while, it was this dude. He's like, my name's Kenyon. People call me the Iceman. It's like, nah. No, they don't. It's not how nicknames work. People call me Big Shooter. Like, no, nobody calls you that, do they? The Iceman? Why? But he was super, super like redneck country guy. And he didn't have a driver's license. And when we would drive to work, he'd be like, I just want you to know, I got a gun under the seat. It's not registered. It's got hollow points in it. I don't have a driver's license. So if we get pulled over, I'm shooting the cop and then I'm shooting you. And I was like, all right. So I didn't know if he was really going to do it. And thank God we never got pulled over. But my plan was if we got pulled over, I was just going to bail out of the car and start screaming, he's going to shoot you.
Well, yeah.
That was every morning, like 3:30 in the morning, driving to work.
Every morning you did that with him?
Every morning I was prepared for him
to run. Yeah.
Yeah. Who needs coffee in the morning? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
You got a guy who's
nice shot of adrenaline.
I'm going to shoot the cop through the door and then I'm going to kill you. And I'm like, you just tell me the first part.
You want $5?
You don't have to tell me the second.
Do you want maybe $5 for gas?
Yeah. What's up, dude? Dude, I'll suck your dick if you don't kill me. I'm telling you that right now.
You just want to put it right here.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. I tell you what, instead of putting a bullet in me, why don't you put some schlong right in here and we'll just go to work and not tell the other guys. But he was such a fucking... So this job was at a factory and like I was so bad at it because I'm not mechanical. But after a while, I got really good at my job. And I was just like working with like exhaust for generators and mufflers and shit. And I was just covered in oil head to toe because I was on drugs that make you want to itch yourself. So I was constantly itching.
And you had a beard?
I was itching my face with my fucking nasty hands. And he would occasionally sell me pills too. Dude, if you want to get pills, work at a factory. Everybody had fucking pills. And we were driving home one day and we passed like, I can't remember if it was like a grouse or it was just a bird, right? We passed a bird going home. And we drove for a little bit longer, and then he goes, wait a minute, pulls his e-brake, flips the car around, goes back the other way, opens his door, scoops the bird, throws it in the back, shuts the door, pulls the e-brake, spins back around and goes home. He's like, yeah, I'll cook that up for the kids tonight. I was like, what? And then I got to see this play out like to the end. Yeah, I've always wanted to talk about this guy. It's just crazy little chunk of my life, just like hanging out with whoever could get me whatever I needed, right? I needed to get to work, so I just tolerated like... I eventually made it to a very nice guy after him. I'll tell you why he got fired here in a minute, and you're not going to believe it.
I can't.
You're not even going to believe it. So he dropped me off at home, and he was like, hey, I can get you like some Vicodin or whatever. And I was like, cool. I gave him the money, and I was like, I'll be by. Like, let me know when you got him. And I went to band practice. He used to be in a band. We'll talk about that eventually. And he called me. He's like, hey, you can come get those pills. So I went over there and I had to hang out with like him and his shitty kids. And like, I got my pills and like, I would scare people with my drug.
Shitty kids eating roadkill.
Hang on. I would scare people with my drug use. Like I'd take like 8 Vicodin and people would be like, whoa, what the fuck? So I would have to like be like, no, I'm not going to take any right now. I'd have to leave wherever I was to do what I wanted.
Yeah.
Because then people would never sell to me again. They'd be like, did you just eat 15 of those? I'm like, yeah, dude.
That's crazy.
Oh, totally.
I've seen one person do that in my life. She took a whole thing, poured them all. There was probably 20 pills, and she just
Yeah. I've taken like 17, 18 Vicodin.
She took the whole handful, and then she went and threw up, and then she
Ate her puke?
Ate her puke.
Yeah, dude. Is she single? What's up?
She was insane. I know. I hung out with that girl twice, and I was like, I can't be around you.
Those are my people.
That's crazy.
So I'm sitting in the basement with this dude and his kids, and he's like one of those guys who like yells at his old lady and calls her old lady. Like, hey, bitch, I got a friend here. Bring him a beer. Hey, bitch. And I'm like, dude, I don't want a beer. Please don't do that.
You do that one more time.
Huh? Hey, bitch. Do you like that?
I like that a lot.
Hey, Talene.
We're gonna just play with that later.
Yeah. Yes. Uh-oh, I scared the dogs though. It's because I never said that to you.
No, you never talk like that.
Hey.
Bitch.
Hey, take my Mountain Dew out of the freezer. It's going to explode. I want it cold, not frozen, bitch.
Yeah, now you're just appropriating my culture.
Yeah, that's Southern. He was, though. He was. You might have went to school with him. I'm sorry, dog. I didn't mean to yell. Mandy, it's actually Mandy's fault.
It
It's
is.
okay.
I enjoyed it.
It's
Sorry.
Mandy's fault, dude. You're good. You're good. And to make small talk while this is happening, I just want my pills. Maybe we're smoking a bowl in front of kids, which is always fun. And he like had his, I don't think this really happened, but it's funny to me. He like hit a bowl and then like handed it to his kid to walk over to the other side of the room to me.
Oh my god.
I don't think that really happened, but it's funny in my head. And I said, hey, just to make small talk, and this is later the same day where he fucking did some Fast and Furious shit to get a duck that he got hit by a car. And I was like, hey, man, what'd you ever do with that bird? And he's like, oh, fuck, I forgot about that. Hey, bitch. And like, he had somebody go out to his car and get the bird. I want to say it was a grouse or a goose. I don't know. It was a large bird.
Yeah.
And while he's talking to me, he's like, man, our foreman's really a fucking dick, right? And he starts ripping the feathers off and cutting it open and pulling the guts out. And I'm like, oh, my God, dude.
That's a fucking
Yeah.
metal, dude.
Dude, I was scared every day of my life. Every day of my life. He got in an altercation with somebody he worked on the line with, just like verbally, and I'm like I'm with him, so people like think he's my buddy. So I got to do that weird thing of like being like, oh no, he's just my ride to work, and then when I see him, he's like, I'm just your ride to work, huh? And I'm like, no, we're cool, man. No, baby.
Please don't rip my feathers off, sir.
Yeah, you still got that gun? We were going somewhere on lunch, and he saw the guy he got in the altercation with at like the gas station, and he like pulled the gun out and like waved it at him a little bit, and that got him fired. And I was like, thank God.
That would get you
Thank
fired, I would
God.
hope.
He said he could get me. The last time I saw him, he was like, hey, I can get really good weed in Chicago. And I was like, no, I'm cool, man. But he just like showed up at my apartment anyways. So I gave him some money, and I was like, I don't give a fuck if he like ripped me off. I don't care if he ever comes back. And he came back like 6 hours later from Chicago, which is like an hour and a half, 2 hour drive, with like some run of the mill fucking like dirt weed. I was like, dude, you did not have to go to Chicago to get some fucking
God,
swag, dude.
I remember just the dirtiest weed.
Oh, yeah.
Growing up.
I got really good at cleaning weed, taking out the sticks and seeds. And I
I
was
have
like,
not seen a stick or a seed.
I mean, they still make sticks.
Oh, I
It's
know.
gotta grow on something.
I just never.
That's what
it would
you
just
would
be
say.
bags of sticks and seeds. It wouldn't be like.
That's what you would say when like people were buying like swag. Like, hey man, it's got to grow somehow. That's why it has sticks and seeds in it.
Yeah, they'd weigh it in front of you, and it would look like there was like a bunch of bud in there, and then you'd open it, and it would just be like
All seeds.
All seeds.
Hey man, it's got to grow sometime.
Yeah.
It's got to grow. What, you expect it to grow without seeds?
They, like,
Yeah.
pop in your fucking face.
Yeah, that was a thing that a lot of people, younger kids don't even know, don't have to deal with. But
Yeah.
that would be one of the questions. Like, hey man, you got weed? Yeah. Has it got like a lot of seeds in it? Like, it's got some. You're like, okay, cool, I'll take it. You know,
Yeah.
just
Alright.
have to like prepare weed.
There was buying weed in Alabama
Oh yeah, this is fun. I've heard this.
was
Yeah.
just ridiculous. You'd have to like find the guy, and then the guy would have a guy, and then that guy would have to go to the other guy, and you would have to pay extra for the guy's gas money, and then they'd pinch the bag, of course.
Yeah.
And then like 3 days later, you'd have the worst weed ever. They give you the worst headache.
Yeah, it used to be like, yeah.
Oh, I was like, what's the fucking point? Like, this is stupid. And like now I use weed like medicinally. Like it really helps.
Digital.
Yeah, and it like really helps my anxiety, and it helps me like my brain slow down.
So bass backwards. It
Yeah.
helps anxiety, but whatever. What was I gonna say? Here, a text you don't have to send anymore is, or something you don't have to say anymore is text me when you got it.
Yeah.
Because you'd be like, text me when you got it. You'd be like, okay, they have it. Then you do the math on like how far away they were. But with most of these dudes and drug dealers and middlemen, like they're running errands in the middle. They like pick up your bag and then fucking got to pick up their kids from Pilates or whatever.
Oh my gosh,
do.
I remember sitting around with a bunch of friends and we were waiting for weed or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wish there was like a better business bureau or something that I could call and be like, this guy is just a liar. And all my friends, and I was always the square out of the group.
Yeah.
I was always the nerd. I was always, oh, Mandy said something stupid again. Guess what Mandy said? So everybody was sitting there like, what are you talking about? I was like, it would be cool to have like a database of these fools and you can know who's reliable, and like, and now we do.
Now you do, yeah. Now you can.
Like,
now you can.
I invented that. Colorado.
Yeah, you came up with that?
Yeah. It's fun. I remember that one
You
time.
came up with bitching about drug dealers?
I remember that one time PJ was like, he was working at the dispensary and he was like, oh, I wish I didn't have to go to work, sell weed. I wish I could just stay home. And I was like, that's traditionally how it's been done.
Yeah. We've been doing it that way
Yeah.
a lot longer than this way. You can stay home and sell weed, dude.
Like, I know a lot of people that stayed home and sold weed. It's like the easiest thing ever.
Ugh, yeah. One time at the factory, I took a bunch of acid and Adderall on a Sunday, forgetting it was Sunday, and then I had to work the next day. And I was up all night tripping balls, and I was like, fuck. And like when you work at a factory job, it starts at 5 a.m. There's not really anyone to like call into. You know what I mean?
What does acid and Adderall at the same time do to you?
I don't know. It's just a lot. It was. It was the.
It's like the best answer.
I was staying with my uncle at the time, and we were just tripping balls, and he had Adderall, and like he would walk past me in the kitchen, like open a capsule and just dump it in my mouth. I don't have any proof of this, but I was working 6 days a week at this factory, tired as fuck. So I would come home and just like fall asleep in a chair, like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some of the dudes that were there like put a couple extra.
Those are like time released or something.
Yeah, they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not when you open them up and pour.
Yeah. So I don't have any proof of it, but I slept for like a couple hours and woke up like ready to fucking rock. So I don't know if they were like dumping shit in my mouth when I was asleep. Because like they were having like a party and I was like, oh, you know what? I can hang for a bit. But I was just always tired. So I fell asleep with my mouth like that. But I went to work and on the riding with a different guy now, Robert Briggs, great guy. He thought I was really funny. So like on the way to work, I'd just be like cutting it up and talking shit. We'd smoke bowls and like, and I'd be like doing Oxycontin and stuff and just like having a good time. He didn't have a license either. I don't think I ever rode to that job with somebody who had a license. I didn't have one either. I ain't judging. But I was so freaked out because I was like tripping like a motherfucker and I had to go work at the factory, dude.
Yeah.
And I was being like kind of quiet and he was like asking me questions and I was just being like, yes, no, like one word answers. And he goes, dude, you're being a fucking dick. And like, I don't know if you've tripped, but if somebody like comes at you any sort of aggressive way, it's intensified. So he's just like, dude, you're being a fucking dick. You're being a dick. Like echoing in my head. And I was like, dude, don't do that. Don't do that. And I was like, dude, I'm tripping on acid, man. And he's like, what? And he turned on the dome light and saw my eyes. And he's like, oh, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
He's like, why didn't you tell me? I was like, I don't know. Because I was trying to be cool, man.
Every time I've ever done acid, it's been like that.
Yeah.
I've never
had a great time.
I've never
on
had
acid.
fun on acid. Never. I've done it twice, and I didn't have a good time either time.
But what's the what's the thing you lose on acid that's really important? Say at a job, your concept of time.
Time.
And if you've never worked on a factory line, time is the only thing we care about. It moves in a certain time. You have so much time to do tasks. I thought I was behind, dude. I was fucking kind of like you closing the restaurant.
Yeah.
I was fucking like doing it as fast as I could, and then I'd look at the clock and be like, "Oh shit, I still have 9 minutes before it moves." Like, holy fuck, dude! But using one of those fucking guns, those rivet guns or whatever they're called, I don't even know. The fucking would like vibrate through my whole body, and I'd be like, "Holy fucking shit!" And the dude, like the line boss, walked by and he's like, "Are you all right, man?" I was like, "I took some acid last night and it won't wear off." And he looked at me and he goes, "Go in the bathroom. I'll do your job." So it's like, it's this collection of scumbags. You know what I mean? Nobody was going to rat me out. And it took me like 2 days to come down from that trip.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so rough. And then the people I worked with were like, "Can you get some more of that, dude?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll bring acid to work."
It's crazy how like when you're in that world, like everybody knows in that world, of course, everybody smokes cigarettes and everybody does drugs and everybody. And then when you kind of like slowly get out of it, you're like, oh, people don't live like this.
No,
this isn't
not
normal.
Not at all. Not at all.
This is not normal to like have
I
people
should have
doing
been
drugs in your house every
fired.
day. Yeah.
I should have been immediately. Dude, there's fork trucks in there. There's fucking engines, heavy equipment. And I'm fucking. Dude, I was chewing at the time. I kept putting in chews without taking like the old one out because I'd forget about them.
Oh.
So then I'd go to put a chew in and be like, "Oh my God, I have like 10 chews in my mouth," and like almost fucking throw up, dude. It was so bad.
So gross.
Dude, I was so freaked out, man. And I could not bring myself to eat. We had a work Christmas party, and that's when I finally came down and like ate some of the food. And I was like, "Oh, thank God."
Oh, that's so scary.
Did that answer your question on what Adderall and acid do?
That's crazy. I don't like psychedelics. I don't like seeing things that aren't there.
It's arguably the thing I miss
shit.
the most because I always had a good time. I had bad moments.
That's
I
your
always
brain.
had a good time.
We think so differently. Like I can never be that out of control. I loved like Adderall was my jam. Loved Adderall. Loved doing Adderall, and like I was prescribed it, and like it helped me work or whatever.
Everyone's prescribed it, dude.
for sure. I don't do any of that.
We've all got a learner's permit.
Yeah,
you know?
That's true. But like the psychedelics, mushrooms, and all that shit, people are like, "Oh, let's see how far we." I'm like, no, I'm gonna stay here.
Let's see how far it goes.
I don't like it.
Yeah, acid revelations are just fucking.
And I don't like pain pills. I can't take pain
That
pills.
actually is bothersome to me. You've told me that they hurt your belly and you don't like them.
There was one time.
What?
There was one time.
What?
I lived in South Carolina. I was on Folly Beach, bunch of friends, and someone had like Percocets or something. I could be making that up. I don't know what the fuck they had, but my friend took 2 and she gave me 1, and I was like, "These hurt my belly. I don't think I should take this." And she was like, "What?" And she looked at me like, "You look like." Like, everybody there was like, "What?" And I was like, "Okay, I'm cool." You know, I was very.
Did you eat it and it hurt your belly?
So I ate it, and about 20 minutes later, I threw up, and then they had more, so I ate another one. And then we walked down the beach, and we're walking like it's in a neighborhood, like we're walking down like houses and stuff, and I threw up.
I love houses.
In every bush, in every house.
But you got to be cool for a little bit.
And then I
feel
begged
good?
someone to drive me home. Like one of my friends, I was like, "Please drive me home. Just please drive me home right now." And like it was literally like 10 o'clock at night. Like it was like just getting started. Everybody was getting all fired up. And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
goodness.
I'm like, "Please drive me home," because I can do pain pills when I'm like prescribed them and I need them, and I'm like laying in bed, watching TV. But if I have to have like a conversation with you, and I have to stand up, and I have to like walk, and I have to, I can't. And of course I was drinking too. Like it's so much that my body just freaks out. I can't do it. I just can't do it. It makes me feel insane.
Yeah.
And I know you hate it, but it's just really
It just blows my mind to be like, "Hey, would you like to take this little bit of heaven in a pill?" And you're like, "Oh no, thanks. My tummy gets upset." Like it's pure fucking just
Why is it so much fun to fucking vomit every 3 minutes?
Because I don't vomit.
Oh right, that's true. I see what you're saying.
I like the idea of a guy who's so like manly. He claims he doesn't puke.
I don't ever puke.
I'm not a little sissy. I don't fucking throw up. You will it down.
I don't know. There was always a point of the night. I knew that I would never like stay in that lifestyle, just because there was always a point in the night where I would look around and I would be like, I don't like any of these people. I don't want to be around any of these people. I don't like what they're doing. I don't like any of this. None of this feels productive.
Dude, I've always been last man standing.
Yeah, I was always the first one to leave.
I was
for
last.
sure.
The party would be done and I'd be like playing video games. You know what I mean? Just fucking. I'm not gonna sleep anyways.